Alright, what's up, Fish Gang? So, I figured I'd tell you guys a little bit more about my number one all-time favorite fish. He is basically the first large cichlid that I have ever attempted to keep, and his name is Guillermo. He's the one that really got me pretty deep into the hobby. So, I got him back in 2014, so he's a little bit over 7 years old. From a Petco, and he was about 3 to 4 inches when I got him. He was sitting in the tank with with a red Oscar, and I really just wanted to get a black fish. He was like almost totally black at the time, so I just really wanted to get one to kind of, hook up my African cichlid tank at the time. I didn't really know a whole lot about fish at that time frame. Long story short, I got him, and I went home and I popped him into the little 29 gallon and everybody else, and he started getting big, like real big. So I jumped up, got him a 40-gallon tall, and my roommate had also gotten a Oscar fish as well, and he decided to put his into a 29. I told him, I was like, man, dude, these fish are not going to fit in there. We started doing a little bit more research, and we were like, oh my god, this is we kind of got a little bit over our heads. These guys are going to get huge. So we put them both into the 40-gallon together. They did fine. Guillermo was a little bit bigger than the other one, so he was beaten up on a little bit. He was all good. But I still felt kind of bad, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this dude a 75-gallon aquarium. So I hopped up, got him a 75-gallon, and I got a little bit bored with it. I was like, man, just this one fish in here. I want to do something else. So went to the fish store, started poking around, and I came across a umbi. Now, that was a terrible idea, but at the time I didn't know any better. So I put him in, and this umbi was beautiful. It was like super royal blue and just looked awesome. He was approximately the same size as Guillermo, so I figured they'd get along. Well, long story short, I go to sleep that night, and then I just hear like this rumbling and ruckus of like just banging into the glass and splashing, and it's just insanity. And I eventually get up and go check on it, and to my horror, I found Guillermo sitting there with his entire sides almost gouged out on both sides, all the way down to the white meat, and his tail was like practically shredded and almost gone. So I was very devastated, and I snatched the umbi out of there as fast as I could, just popped him over to the side, let him sit in his bucket. He went away, and I then began to dose and try to nurse Guillermo back to health. Ironically, or crazy enough, it only took him like a week and a half to get back to almost like you couldn't tell at all on his sides. Now his tail took a long time to grow back, but it didn't get down to the stub part, so we were good in that regard. And as you can see, it came back. He's doing great. He's totally healthy. There's no issues there as far as his tail is concerned. Now, moving forward a little bit. So after I got him in that, I was like, you know what? I'll chill out on getting him some friends for a while, and slowly kind of just let him hang out and do his thing in there. Ended up moving and went to another apartment, and I ended up getting a red terror that I put into a 55, and I ended up getting Guillermo a catfish. Well, it was a channel catfish that got a little bit, pretty big, and him and Guillermo were not getting along. And I ended up putting Guillermo into the 55 with the red terror. They did not fight a whole lot. They were good for a long time. The red terror started putting some more size on, got a little bit snippy, but they did fine. And Guillermo started to get pretty big, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to put him back into that 75, because there's no way I'm gonna let him stay in this 55, especially with the red terror starting to grow a little bit too. It just was not a good fit. So I ended up, getting rid of the catfish. I took him to one of the local fish stores, and they slapped him into this gigantic tank, and he had a great time. So I put Guillermo back into the 75 by himself. When I moved again for the third time, I said, you know what, I'm gonna give him a nice big old 125. He's gonna love it, it's gonna be awesome. So I gave him the 125, I get him in there, and what happens again? I get a little bit bored, and I start adding other fish. Well, keeping it super simple, those fish ended up getting extremely sick, and Guillermo was the only one that did not get the fin rot. And I don't know how, I don't know what in the world happened, but after, you know, I kind of helped everybody else the best that I could, and I got some of them healthy, and I was able to get them to different homes. And I said, you know what, I have to get Guillermo, you know, his whole own tank. I did a couple other things with the 125, as you can see, but I said I'm gonna get Guillermo his whole own tank again. So I went and bought a different 75-gallon aquarium, and this is where he is now. So that whole process basically just taught me that, for one, it's a simple, direct plan when it comes to fish keeping is best. Two, less is more. You want a whole bunch of fish and stuff, and they look cool and all that. Just take your time and be patient. Set something up, make it nice. And, you know, three, and most importantly, that, you know, you have to take care of these fish because they are, you know, pretty intelligent. They do have, you know, feelings and emotions, and I know that sounds crazy, but, you know, they are God's creatures, and you need to make sure you take care of them the best way. So don't be selfish and just slap them all into a tank and, you know, take their life down because you wanted a really cool, you know, looking fish tank. So just take super good care of them. Be very mindful. Do your research, and at the end of the day, they're extremely enjoyable. I mean, he is a great fish. He does, you know, really well by himself. Only thing I got him in here right now with is a Placo, and honestly, when I change like the lights and I make everything look really cool in here, I turn the white lights on just because I want everybody to get a good look at them. But when I change those lights and everything, it just looks real simple and, you know, nice and smooth and easy. He loves it in there. Everything looks good, and it's just much better that way. And you get to see a lot of his personality and stuff, you know, on his own. So it's a fun fish to keep. So I would definitely say, if you're going to keep one of these things, make sure you get you a large enough tank, 75 or better, because they get quite large. And just do your research. If you guys have any questions about keeping them, feel free to ask me in the comment section. And if you have any questions specifically about, you know, me or Guillermo, ask away, and we will be glad to answer the best we can. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the Mofo like button and hop in the Mofo comment section so we can get this content out to more crazy fish people like you. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. I'm out the tank. Thanks for watching.